Hello and welcome to the Gone Traveling Podcast. We are looking at the BKT EuroCup, the road to greatness, and we have two teams remaining. Hapoel Shlom Tel Aviv and Dreamland Gran Canaria have booked their spots in the finals, and one of those two clubs will book a ticket to the EuroLeague with me to break down the game threes of the semifinals. And the finals, the preview of the finals, is Sergio Llebres over in Valencia, who was there for game three of Valencia losing against Hapoel Tel Aviv. Sergio, how you doing?
Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm great. Not that good because of Valencia loss, personally, but we got to see a very good basketball game. Both teams fought until the end. Also, Bahcesehir and Gran Canaria did. So, yeah, this postseason in EuroCup is being fantastic. Great level, great players that need to, I don't know, be mentioned because they are giving their best, and there are some surprises that we gotta talk about. Yeah.
Yep. So finals will be Tuesday, April 8th. Game one, home game for Tel Aviv, quote, home game at Samakov Arena in Bulgaria. Game two, Friday, April 11th, on the island in Gran Canaria. And then game three, if necessary, Wednesday, April 16th, back in Bulgaria. We'll talk about the finals in a few minutes, but let's jump into the game threes, do or die. Winner stays and goes to the finals. Loser is done with their Euro Cup season. Let's start with the game you were at. Valencia. They had Sergio De La Rea back.
Hmm.
They didn't have Chris Jones, and a it was a battle. Um, and Obviously, Hapoel Tel Aviv won 94-92. Fantastic game. Obviously, the hero was Antonio Blakeney with 32 points, 6 3-pointers, plus 9 rebounds. Marcus Foster, 22. Uh, Yamadar, he was bottled up for a while by Jean Matero. I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit. Had 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Motley was dealing with some foul trouble. Was held to 8 points and 5 rebounds. Valencia, yeah, I mean you had Badillo had a great game with 20 points. Montero was on fire, scored 17, but also had some foul issues. In the end, a thrilling game. Like to hear your take. What do you recall most about the
Yeah,
final game of the semifinals? Sorry.
yeah, I'm feeling a great merit for Apoel. Props to Blakeney and also Marcus Foster in the hot moments. But my since I was there, my view is that Valencia lost the game by themselves because of the decisions they made in the fourth. There are some players that are with a hit check and they are in their moment in a very special and specific moment of the game, and you need to react, and Valencia didn't. You can see the graphic of the leadership of the score, and Valencia is winning all the game throughout the third quarter, and then in the fourth, the team with the most attitude and the team with the players that are determined to win the game take the game, and that's when you need to react and readjust for Blakeney, for Foster. Also, I think the interior defense of Valencia was I don't know how to say it, improvable because uh, Hapoel Tel Aviv got like 70 something% of efficiency in 2 pointers. And then if you see the the mid range, they did like 9 of 11 or 10 of 12, something like that. That's something you gotta work on, especially in the defense. I think Itudis knew how to attack Valencia and how to control Valencia's tempo. And just because Branco Badio throughout all the game and Montero in some specific moments, Valencia remained alive until the end. But uh, for me, Tel Aviv got I don't know, like the moral win throughout all the game, and they showed that they are not only a team made out of great names, that want players that want to shine in a team and go back to another great team, a EuroLeague team or NBA team or G League team. They Itudis made a great work of like unify all the players, and here's the result: a EuroCup final and a chance to get to the EuroLeague.
First time ever for Hapoel Tel
Yeah,
Aviv to reach the finals, and now just two victories from reaching the EuroLeague for the first time. You mentioned the maturity, the level-headedness that Motley ended up. And I don't think he ended up fouling out, did he? No. So the fact that he was able to stay on the court, picked up his fourth foul with almost 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And then what I think was a big factor was Montero, the third foul where he kind of ran into, I think he ran into Gannett. But the fourth foul was the technical where he hit I think it was a three and then was barking at the bench and got the technical. And that was in the third quarter with almost 8 minutes left. And obviously we all know we've talked about it all year how important he is. With him strapped to the bench, the team without Jones, without Chris Jones, and okay, Badio had a great game, but you're relying that much more on Jovic, who obviously can still play, but at the age, whatever he is, 34, you know, with that rotation, with that fourth foul being a technical on top of it, that really hurt, because also with him, he was hounding Madar. Madar didn't score his first basket until 6 minutes left in the third quarter. He ended up, like I said, with eight, right? But had two threes, so that gave him some space, and so I think that really turned around the game was that technical where he, we can love to love him, for his energy and everything else, but and he's still a kid, but you can't do that as your fourth foul with that much left in the game, knowing how important you are. On top of that, knowing you don't have Chris Jones. I think that was that much more important in my eyes.
yeah. Chris Jones suffered like 2 seasons ago and last season problems in his knee. I think it's a chronic problem, like tendinitis or something like that. So um, maybe every April or every March, Valencia has a problem with Chris Jones and his knee. So that's something to note and to have into account. As you said, that technical foul for Montero was psychological for him and also for Pedro Martinez that didn't have the tools to, I don't know, to make his team go one step further because you need a playmaker when you are playing.
If this game was like 2 weeks later, where De La Rey had a little bit of rhythm,
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
but he just
And
came back,
and I think the Laria's role was very good because of his defense on Madar in the first quarter and also a little bit in the second because also the Laria started the second quarter with a triple and then with a good pass and well he did a very good defense. a very good defensive player on the ball, and he was great with Madar with his wingspan and attitude, but you need a problem solver in this type of matches, and Valencia didn't got one without Chris Jones, as you said, and that was a very big problem because Valencia doesn't really need didn't really need any playmaker throughout the season because they play as one because of the transitions, short attacks, quick offensive. So they don't really need to play 5 against 5 all the time. But in this series, they need it all the time. Uh, Before starting the third match, um, Hapoel Tel Aviv won 72% of the time of the series, you know, and that's because of the tempo and how they dominated the the the, the plot of the series, you know. So they were very confident, and Valencia didn't have one brain to manage all that on the court. They have one on the sideline, but they didn't have the brain needed or the calm or the attitude needed in the fourth quarter, and that was maybe the name was Chris Jones. You could see him in last season in EuroLeague. He resolved like 2 3 matches in the fourth quarter, and this was a game for him, and it was a pity that he couldn't play. But as I said, props to this to Apoel because they were great and the efficiency in the fourth quarter with 9 threes. That's the most tight threes in one quarter in the EuroCup. That's crazy. So you had to enjoy that because it was a very good basketball matchup for them.
Yeah, Valencia fans probably didn't enjoy it very much, but it
No,
was
yeah,
fun.
but
It was fun. It was fun.
it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to the other series then. This was obviously the fifth matchup because we had Gran Canaria and Bahcesehir play in
Mhm.
the group as well. And so every road team lost those first four games. And in this one, Gran Canaria, 41% on three pointers. They hit 12 from long range. Uh, Obviously, you had Caleb Holmesley with 19 points, three threes. Toby was unstoppable. They had no answer for Toby, and then you had Brasino with his. Toby had 11 and 10 points for Brasino, and then on the other hand, you had a really great game by Jalen Smith. And Hazard ended up with 13. Odiasi had 11, 4, and 4. And I want to say that the other two semifinals games, yeah, the other two semifinal games, Odiasi only had 8 points combined. And I remember last week mentioning that Odiasi is probably going to have a big game. And because he had a big game, Simonovic was a no-show, 1 point, two shots, and was basically a no-show. And so he ended up with, oh my God, is that what? Okay, no, I thought he had a minus 14. It was a minus 14 plus minus a minus 5 for Kirkmaus.
Yeah.
He hurt his team. He did. He made one of three 3 pointers for 3 points and five turnovers, three in a span of like 3 or 4 minutes in the third quarter, where they were really trying to keep pace with them. So last week in the preview of the game three, you said it was going to be in the 60s, and I said at least one team will score in the 70s.
So
Two,
both.
both of them did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we gotta say that the record was 74 points
Yeah.
for the most points of one team in the four
In this
matches.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, in all the season. So, in the fifth, Gran Canaria got 76. That represent a great number because of what they achieved with that mini record. And yeah, I was about to talk about Simonovic because he for me he was being the MVP of the playoffs all around because he stepped up a lot and he gave Bahcesehir what they needed in crunch moments and because of Odiase and his nice game, we could say, or decent game, he didn't got any options. He only played 12 minutes, and and what you said about Korkmaz, I agree totally. He killed Bahcesehir in only 10, 12 minutes he played.
He
Uh,
killed him.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, it was all the I don't know. In the first two matches, he was great in some moments because Bahcesehir needed some three-pointers against Holmesley's efficiency. So they got Korkmaz to respond and contest that threes from Gran Canaria. But this time, Bahcesehir weren't, I don't know, without I felt like Jalin Smith was kind of playing alone sometimes, and all I don't know. I expected more about Ponitka. He's got some weeks playing now, and he should be I don't know more on point. So I don't know. Also, Axel Butiel, a great scorer that only shot four times in 20 minutes. That's a great work from Gran Canaria. Great scouting work from Jaka Lakovic on the defensive end. I think that's the most important thing for Gran Canaria. How they manage to stop or I don't know to slow their opponent's offensive. So a great match also for Caleb Homley again with another great trip three-pointer in very important moment where Bahcesehir was pushing and getting some points with easy baskets or free throws. He managed to get a very difficult shot and he did it and 19 points, and he was the MVP of the game. And I must say, also Andrew Albisi, he's always the man who plays the most with Brusino. We know that they are classics for Gran Canaria. So I don't know. Gran Canaria without Carlos Alocen needs a lot a good point guard, and Albisi is one of them with 35 years old now. So. Uh, I don't have words for him because he's the leader and he's going to play his second EuroCup final in 3 years, 3 seasons, 2 years.
Yep, yep. You mentioned, I think you mentioned the free throws.
Mm,
You look at the free throws for Bahcesehir, and they were 19 of 26 for
yeah,
73%, which is okay. But those felt like a lot more misses than just seven in the game. Maybe it was just that a lot of those I have to go back and look, and there's no way I'm doing that right now. How many of those
mm,
came in the fourth quarter? But it sure seemed like there was more than seven misses. And it also feels like they had more turnovers than 12. This was the team that committed the fewest turnovers in the league on offense. And 12 doesn't sound like a big number, but for five of those, five of those were Kirkmas.
yeah,
And those two, and those are the areas where, you know, I'm a firm believer that you can never, if you're a coach or a player, whatever, you can never complain to the ref that you lost the game at the buzzer. you know, Instead of turning the ball over 18 times, turn it over 12 times. Instead of hitting, 65% on free throws, hit 78%. Those are the, two areas where you kind of, okay, the turnovers, the defense obviously and the pressure, whatever, but those are two areas where you really can control things. And that's where I think that they lost the game. Those again, this it was only seven, but it felt like a lot more than seven, didn't it? Missed free throws.
yeah. I think when you lose a this type of games, any miss means a lot, and it magnifies. And
Yeah.
I got the same feeling as you because it's
Because I watch these games, because I watch both of these games day of recording in the morning. I
yeah,
avoided, and I couldn't even look at the stats, so I had to wait until after the game, after watching both games, to look at the stats because I didn't want to see who won the game. And I looked at them and said only 7 misses. I'm like, no, there's got to be more than that. But obviously the stats are right. So
yeah. It also counts how consecutive the misses are and in what moments. And I don't know, as I was saying, Seamus Hazer made the two important 3 pointers to put the score
I knew he was missing
5.
one of those free throws, though. I knew he was going to miss one of those free throws. That was with 17 seconds left, and he could have tied the game if he had two. I'm looking at right
Exactly.
now. I knew he was going to miss one of those two. I was like,
He
there's no way he's making both of those shots.
Yeah, he made two free throws with 5 minutes and a half left to put the -2
Tonitka
score.
went 1 of 2 with 3:26 down
Yeah,
down three, and he made one
yeah,
to make it a 2 point game. And
that's
actually, you know what?
yeah.
What was the 3-pointer that
From
they
Veloz.
downgraded to two? Because that was an important moment too. That was um because originally it was 72-70 on the clock, on the scoreboard with just under 3 minutes left. And then when they had the time, they did the review of something else. There was a
Yeah,
review later, and
the
they changed it from 72-70 to 71-70. And that's a big difference with about 2 minutes left in the game to change it from a 2 point lead to just a 1 point lead. And that was, and there must have been, I haven't gone back to look at it, but there must have been a 3-pointer that they downgraded to a 2-pointer.
yeah,
And that was,
it must be Jalin Smith because
it wasn't, no, because I just looked because Jalen Smith, the 3-pointer, they gave him a 3-pointer with
yeah,
just under 3 minutes left, and I looked, and I mean, he was pretty far back. So yeah, that was a big moment. And I'm like, oh man, that hurts your entire mentality because you're under 2 minutes left and you have a two point lead, and then all of a sudden you only have a 1 point lead. Yeah, that was kind of harsh on that one.
yeah. That shows you how important details are in basketball in this type of games because it's decided everything by 1 point or one decision that costs you your psychological feeling or mental state in the game, and that's where Gran Canaria made themselves bigger in the last moments, and that's when you gotta give the flowers to Albisi, Homesley, because they are not really missing or failing their team in the last in the crunch time in the clutch. So this was uh, I must say, I felt like this season for Gran Canaria at the beginning was going to be blank, and they now are for great things. And if you remember, I had very good feelings about them in the beginning of the playoffs, but I didn't really expect them to get to the finals like with this authority because anyone has won in EuroCup in Istanbul against Bahcesehir, and Gran Canaria lost twice in there. So this season, and with 4 matchups, you got the I don't know the enough data to like know what to expect, and they surpassed the expectations for me. Yeah, and that's why you gotta applaud Jakalakovic and their scouting staff. I think that's the key here, and the free throws for sure.
All right, let's move to the finals.
Yeah,
And we have, as we said, Tel Aviv first time ever, Gran Canaria second time in 3 seasons. They obviously won it back in 23. Tel Aviv third leading team in scoring, a shade under 89 points. number one in 2-point field goal percentage, 61%, and the third fewest turnovers committed at 12.8. Gran Canaria 17th in scoring at 78, so 10 points per game fewer. They are also the second best defense in the competition at 76. And whereas Tel Aviv is number one in 2-point field goal percentage, Gran Canaria is actually number two in opponents' field 2-point percentage at just 51%. Uh, they have met twice this season. Two wins for Hapoel Tel Aviv. They won at home round four, 79-66, so 13-point win. Gran Canaria 32% on twos, couldn't take advantage of 19 offensive rebounds, and then back in round 13, it was a 23-point win on the island. It was actually Hapoel was ahead by 26 points at halftime, the worst ever halftime performance, the worst ever deficit at halftime for Gran Canaria. Gran Canaria ended up shooting 19% on three-pointers with 19 turnovers. So, two Hapoel Tel Aviv wins in the regular season. What do you think?
Yeah, with all that numbers and how I've been following the semifinals, I think the in the objective perspective, I gotta go with Hapoel Tel Aviv since I saw them live. I've never seen a team like this season in the EuroCup. Their ability to I don't know transform all the game through their direction and how they manage to get all the important moments is key. And we gotta pay attention in Yamadar's physical problems. Let's see if he can remain healthy, if you want to say it like that, for the finals. I have heard that he was going to play still with although he's hurt. So
He's
maybe
playing. He's
yeah,
playing.
yeah, he's
He's
playing and
playing.
resting for week until the Israeli playoffs. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, we gotta pay attention in Jan Madar because he's very important. But I gotta go with Hapoel Tel Aviv. But Gran Canaria is winning home for sure for me, 2-1.
2-1. Um, and the final game in Bulgaria with about 2,000 fans
Yeah,
from yeah. So I just looked and I actually had Tel Aviv second in my power rankings to start the season. And you think about everything that they've gone through, right? You
a
had
lot, a
Etudes
lot.
come in, you had the whole Beverly situation. They brought in Madar, they brought in Blackney, they brought in Bingham, you know. Um,
Yeah,
you had guys going in and out, in and out. The Motley saga,
yeah,
is he going to go to the EuroLeague or not?
and also
You know,
Caboclos rumors. So it was
Vogel really hasn't done as much. They had high expectations for him coming over from Partizan last season. Uh, and they so they actually had. Did they really have Angola to start the season? Holy cow! Is that right?
yeah, I think so. He was for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
You gotta look at this. Stats.
And then he went to Telecom. So
Telegram. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? I can't find him. There. Yeah, one game. He played one
yeah,
game.
I think he was for 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. And just to think. all of the saga of all bringing these guys, losing these guys, bringing these guys in, whether or not they're going to play. Obviously, a coach that has done a thing or two. I don't think they're going to have the thing I think that is going to be key is whether or not Motley's going to be able to play, let's say, 28 minutes or so, because if he has foul trouble, that they could run into some problems. And but yeah, I can't see them losing. I can't
No,
see
no,
Tel Aviv losing twice. I don't see Gran Canaria stopping the Hapoel offense enough and then score enough points.
yeah.
I don't see it.
It depends a lot on their defense and how they manage to control the tempo of the game and go to a low score result. And I think that's not going to be possible against Tel Aviv.
Game in the 70s. They're gonna have to play a game in the
Yeah,
70s. I'm trying to look really quick how many times that Hapoel only scored 70. So they won. They had 67 points in a win over Turk Telecom, and then one game they scored 73 against Trento in Trento, and 79 and 75. But so since the where was the Trento game? So since the Trento game, which was round 5, they had one game where they didn't score in the 80s. And Gran Canaria is not going to win a game in the 80s.
yeah.
Gran Canaria is not going to win a game in the 80s unless they score 125 like they did against Ulm. Sergio, we're running out of time. Why don't you let everybody know really quick where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm Llebres 11, Llebres 11 on Twitter, X, or Blue Sky.
Yeah, I'm at Hein News, HeinNews. We will have a show after the first game, and that is again, like we said, on Tuesday, April 8th. Thank you for listening to the show. This has been the Gone Traveling Podcast, the BKT Road EuroCup, the Road to Greatness. We are out.